Hello and welcome to News on NTA International. We're streaming live on Vision TV 247 and other social media platforms on your screen. I'm Nancy Godi Angunihu, and on sign language is Bamidele John. First, the headlines. Vice President Shettima backs smallholder farmers on sustainable agriculture. UK's Sunak survives knife-edge vote as Rwanda bill scales through House of Commons. Federal government commits to repositioning justice sector for optimum performance and enhanced productivity. President Bola Tinubu has once more assured Nigerians that his administration is working on measures to transform the social life and economic fortunes of the country. This was the assurance he gave leaders and members of the Supreme Council for Sharia in Nigeria, who paid him a courtesy visit at the State House. The president, during the Federal Executive Council meeting on Wednesday, had directed speedy conclusion of assignment by various committees instituted to recommend solutions on how to ease cost of living and doing business in the country. He reiterated the resolve of his administration to make life better for the citizens through sound social and economic policies. President Tinubu also assured that efforts are on to check insecurity in parts of the country. The Supreme Council for Sharia in Nigeria had commended the economic policies of the current administration, but urged the president to ensure measures that will cushion the hard effect on the citizenry.
Commend him on the hard decisions that he has taken for the country, and also to request that expedite action must be taken to cushion the effects of the hard economic decisions that were taken, and also to bring out everything that is in the arsenal to face the problem of insecurity in this country, and also to achieve food security. And we also submitted to him the communique of our just concluded conference, which brought about Islamic scholars, academics, intellectuals, and civil society organizations to make a post-mortem of the 2023 elections and to create a consensus on the way forward for the country, which will present to government.
The Council promises to continue to pray for the success of the current administration in transforming the country for the better. We move on to Davos 2024. Nigeria's Vice President Kashim Shettima says the small-scale farmer is the key to economic emancipation and development of the African continent. During a World Economic Forum panel in Davos, the Vice President pointed out that sustainable agricultural practices focused on smallholder farmers can help produce more food while caring for the land. Justin Bemunye reports.
So I believe that Africa holds the promise, and I want to use this platform to seek for partnership. For me, I don't subscribe to the idea of begging, no. We can carry our poverty with dignity. Sure. We can seek for partnership, for friendship, for genuine relationship that would be mutually beneficial to the investors as well as to the African people.
Vice President Kashim Shettima says Africa needs to embrace mechanized farming in its agriculture value chain to increase economies of scale and boost economic growth and productivity on the continent. Precision and regenerative agricultural practices from local communities such as soil mapping and improved seeds, he however noted, could help to bring about an increase in yield.
Agriculture holds the key, but we are in some sort of a time capsule. 100 years ago, our forefathers were using horse and cutlasses to eke out a meager existence. Now we have to embrace modern agricultural practices, regenerative agricultural practices, fertilization, tractorization, intermediate, not the advanced tractorization that is embedded in Europe and the Americas, and Now, the whole mantra is on increase in yield, so that Africa will be in a position to feed itself and add value to the world.
For the Vice President, the Great Green Wall Project initiative cutting across sub-Saharan Africa could bring about the kind of major change in the landscape needed to tackle the environmental crisis. This initiative, adopted by the African Union in 2007, initially aimed at increasing the amount of arable land over a vast area while combating desertification.
The most important of our endowments are the human resource component. We are the youngest continent in the world. For instance, Nigeria, the average age of the Nigerian population is 19. And this huge youth bulge, we can truly transform them into demographic dividends. I'm afraid I'm an eternal optimist. I don't want to see it as a demographic disaster that will consume all of us. Because once we wear our thinking caps as leaders, once we reach out to the global community for partnership, I believe that Africa stands poised to be a driver of change and growth in the world.
According to a report from the FAO, Nigeria's agricultural sector faces numerous challenges, including a poor land tenure system, a low level of irrigation farming, climate change, and land degradation. The FAO has, however, implemented several initiatives aimed at promoting the sustainable management of natural resources. Justin Bemunyi, NTA News.
And Minister of Arts, Culture and Creative Economy Hannatu Musawa is seeking global collaborations and partnerships that will boost Nigeria's creative economy and generate $100 billion by 2030. Ngufanshaji Ugwanyi reports that the minister is engaging investors in Davos at the World Economic Forum on the huge economic potential of the Nigeria creative industry.
I want you to look at Nigeria as a hub for innovation, as a hub for investment. With the area only of arts, culture and creative economy, I think we can add something very new, very fresh, something that people will be able to sort of understand and resonate with. We are ready to diversify away from just the traditional means of growth, and we are ready to support the creative economy, and I hope that people here will see worth in the Nigerian artist, in our arts, in our fashion, in our music, to see what we can do, not only to offer Nigeria some succor, but to offer the black nation succor and the world as well.
Musawa also notes that these networks will help expand the local market's dynamics to create growth and provide jobs for the teaming creatives and set up long-term strategies for the creative industry in Nigeria. Meanwhile, for the last few years at the World Economic Forum, cryptocurrency firms dominated the mainstream endeavors promoting their wares. However, in 2024, artificial intelligence AI took over as some of the world's biggest companies are pushing their AI products and services with one voice, declaring the future is AI. Hamman Jabani tells us more about this and some issues dominating the discourse at the World Economic Forum.
The shift to artificial intelligence underscores the rapid rise in AI investment and interest last year, sparked by explosion of popularity of ChatGPT, the AI chatbot developed by Opnal and launched at the end of 2022. Global technology companies are pushing to take a lead position in AI and are hoping their big statement on the Davos Promenade will serve to show their prowess in the field. AI dominated the Promenade far more than crypto firms, thus reversing the trend from the past few years.
That we have been completely clear about is that competition is part of how this technology is going to thrive. It's how we're going to solve the problems that we have ahead. And so recognizing how much concentration happens when you take $1 billion to train a leading edge model, but also recognizing the explosion in entrepreneurial activity and venture investment.
More than 250 billionaires and millionaires are demanding that political elites meeting of the World Economic Forum in Davos introduce wealth taxes to help pay for better public services around the world. The wealthy people say in an open letter to the world leaders, and I quote, "Our request is simple. We ask you to tax us, the very rich in society. This will not fundamentally alter our standard of living, nor deprive our children, nor harms our nation's economic growth, but it will in turn extreme and unproductive private wealth into an investment of our common democratic future." End of quote. The rich signatories from 17 countries include Sydney's Hair, Abigail Disney, Brian Cox, who played fictional billionaire Logan Ray in Succession, actor and screenwriter Simon P., and Valerie Rockfield, and heir to U.S. Dynasty. World leaders at the forum on Wednesday deliberated on Disease X, a hypothetically virus 20 times deadlier than COVID-19. While such a virus is not known to currently exist, researchers, scientists, and experts are hoping to proactively come up with a plan of action to combat such a virus and prepare the health system if it were to emerge as a pandemic.
I think renewed commitment to strengthen primary health care is very important. So it starts from there, and then, of course, we can go. Then the other is, we shouldn't see it in terms of health services, in terms of research development, and so on. We should see it also in terms of communities. I mean, communities can prepare for disease X. But there are many things that can be done at community level, and then public health education and communication should be at the center.
By 2050, climate change is likely to cause an additional 14.5 million deaths and $12.5 trillion in economic losses worldwide, according to a new World Economic Forum report on the impact of global warming on the Earth. The challenge will require a comprehensive health system transformation, which also demands global effort across multiple stakeholders, groups, and industries. Hamman Jabani, NTA News.
Away from Davos, UK Prime Minister Rishi Sunak survived a key test of his leadership Wednesday, fending off right-wing rebels to win a crunch parliamentary votes on his contentious plan to send migrants to Rwanda. The Prime Minister also insists that the Conservatives are completely united despite facing rebellion from within its party. Comfort Fashion reports.
The ayes to the right, 320. The noes to the left, 276. The ayes have it, the ayes have it. Look!
The Prime Minister managed to get his controversial policy through its latest parliamentary stage after days of rebellions from Conservative MPs who want the bill toughened up. Right-wing Conservatives had threatened to kill the safety of Rwanda asylum and immigration bill, but they ultimately backed down and the government won comfortably by 320 votes to 276. Mr. Sunak also claimed his plan to stop small boats crossing in the channel was working, despite government figures showing a further 358 asylum seekers arrived in the UK on Wednesday. The result means Sunak avoids a serious weakening of his authority, and as his faction-ridden party desperately needs to claw back support from the main opposition Labour Party before the nationwide votes. Although the bill cleared its third and final hurdle in the elected House of Commons, it will need to be approved by the unelected upper chamber House of Lords before it becomes law. The controversial Rwanda bill is designed to send asylum seekers arriving in the UK on small boats to the African nation and act as a deterrent to others from making channel crossing. Sunak, who's been in power since October 2022, has staked his political future on the scheme as Britain gears up for its next general election later this year. Comfort, Fashion, NTA News.
This is news on NTA International. We take a break. Thank you for staying with us. The federal government says it is committed to repositioning the justice sector for optimum performance and enhanced productivity in line with the Renewed Hope agenda. The Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice, Lateef Fagbemi, SAN, stated this at the ministerial retreat to upscale the performance of the justice sector. Our judiciary correspondent, Dele Atumbi, reports.
No doubt is an enabler for ease of doing business and a pivot for national development. The justice sector is equally a key catalyst for economic growth, investment drive, and revenue generation for the nation. It is also on record that the sector renders non-kinetic support to the security and defense architecture of the country. It is in the light of this that the Chief Law Officer of the land brought together key players in the justice sector to brainstorm on ways to stimulate development. Administration of both civil and criminal justice system tops the priority of the ministry under the watch of the present administration. The federal government priorities and reform exist to ensure good governance, effective service delivery, and optimal performance of sectoral plans in line with the laid-down processes and in synergy with the National Development Plan 2021 to 2025.
In order to facilitate delivery of our mandates, the federal government is committed to building a civil service that is focused on improved staff competencies and skills, improved productivity, and human resource administration.
The retreat has been designed to provide a platform to benchmark our collective commitment to deliver on the development aspirations as captured in the ministerial deliverables and priority areas for the justice sector.
To achieve the desired reforms in the justice sector, the legislative arm of government is key through the amendments of laws.
Has already passed a resolution to the effect that we should work closely with the Office of the Attorney General with a view to review all our obsolete laws to bring them in tandem with the reality of society.
With this retreat, the Office of the Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice in 2024 is expected to mitigate contract failure and reduce judgment debts, promote economic inclusivity, diversification, job creation, and revenue generation. In Abuja, Dele Atumbi, NTA News.
The Nigerian Labour Congress, NLC, has called on the international community to lift the ban on ease of doing business with Cuba to foster continental trade with a view to boosting cross-fertilization of technology and ideas. NLC President Joe Ajero made the call while receiving the Friendship Medal by the Cuban ambassador to Nigeria, Miriam Morales Palmero, at the Labour House in Abuja. Olajide Bello reports.
The Cuban labor movement is one of the oldest in Latin America. During its final days as a colony under Spain in the late 1800s, trade unionism and other political ideas found their way to Cuba through a continuous exchange of people and ideas. During the First World War, trade union activity gained momentum and saw establishment in 1924 of the first national central labor organization, the Confederación Nacional Obrera Cubana, and a second central labor body, the Federación del Trabajo de Cuba, in 1927. Many countries, including Nigeria, keyed into Cuban labor union system as a yardstick for implementation for enhanced labor packages for successive governments till date. That is what prompted this gathering of honoring the Nigerian Labour Congress president for being steadfast over the years.
If somebody is told that Cuba has been under economic and even political blockade all these years and they are still forging ahead, and they have made great impact, especially in the areas of science and technology.
The approved by the government of Cuba for give the Medal of the Friendship to the Nigerian Labour Congress as the President Joe Ajero.
The Friendship Medal, La Medalla de la Amistad, is conferred by the Council of State of Cuba on foreigners for their solidarity with the Cuban Revolution or who have contributed to peace and the progress of humankind. Olajide Bello, NTA News.
COP28 has come and gone with many pledges and proposed actions. In Nigeria, climate advocates believe more work needs to be done to deliver the commitments and actions that match the priorities for the country and other emerging economies facing the full brunt of climate impacts. Charles Alpha reports.
The 28th Conference of Parties of the United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change, COP28, held at the United Arab Emirates, Dubai, brought negotiators from around the world to map out plans to address mounting climate challenges facing the world, particularly developing countries. Commitments to the loss and damage funds and efforts to triple global renewable energy capacity by 2030 were some of the crucial agreements reached to assist countries greatly impacted. However, the question is, how can these pledges be fulfilled and how can Nigeria benefit?
We must now sustain advocacy for its robust implementation from the federal to the subnational in order to engender complete resilience, building and sustainable development of our dear nation.
So we are the solution with the communities and the CSOs that are working.
Without quality data, we will not be able to achieve our aims on climate change as well as meeting the COP commitments.
There is need to speed up the transition, which is key element of moving away from fossil fuel to renewable energy sources.
Climate and Sustainable Development Network, a group of over 300 civil society organizations, and the Pan-African Climate Justice Alliance, at this national stakeholders dialogue, are examining Nigeria's participation and how these commitments, when implemented, will impact positively on those at the subnational.
This meeting is meant to look at all issues that were discussed at the COP and how we can cascade issues resolved during the COP to the grassroots.
The groups believe that more work is needed to address the urgent priorities of adaptation finance. Charles Alpha, NTA News.
The Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN, in its bid to clear the backlog of outstanding foreign exchange liabilities, has paid approximately $2.0 billion across various sectors, including manufacturing, aviation, and petroleum. The bank has also cleared up the entire liability of the 14 banks and started settlements with foreign airlines. A statement by the CBN Acting Director, Corporate Communications Department, Hakama Sidi Ali, explained that the bank had commissioned an independent forensic review by a reputable firm. She also disclosed that payment of the forex backlog for qualified transactions had commenced. She, however, noted that the review revealed grave infractions, gross abuse, and significant non-compliance with market regulations, and appropriate sanctions will be enforced in collaboration with relevant agencies. Sidi Ali stressed the CBN's resolve to sanitize the financial sector and foster trust among all market participants, as well as internal and external stakeholders in the Nigerian economy. Nevertheless, she said, the CBN will continue to settle the legitimate foreign exchange backlog, as it has consistently been doing in the last 3 months. Residents of Oyo State and beyond will, with relatives and loved ones residing in Dejo Oyelese area, have been urged by the state government to assist in identifying those yet to be recovered from the scene of Tuesday's blast in Ibadan. Grace Ayenleke has an update from the scene of the incident.
Counting their loss after the devastating incident, residents of the Dejo Oyelese street are trying to pick up what is left of their lives.
We just had a little injury. Some of our children just had a kind of cut like that. That was the only thing that we had now. Then our building got destroyed.
As excavation and rescue operations are ongoing, all hands are on deck to speed up the exercise and ascertain the level of damage.
It's very difficult in this part of the world to try and find out who are truly missing, because many of them have gone to stay with their relations, and they have not, because of the shock, they've not been in touch with anybody else, so we don't even know where they are. However, we're taking it that if we can't find them, we have to look for them.
When you store a device that can cause explosion, as something might have triggered it, that's what we have not been able to. But I heard there is a fire outbreak somewhere within the building.
Meanwhile, structural engineers have visited the scene of the blast to ascertain the viability of buildings still standing around the scene in an integrity test in Ibadan. Grace Ayenleke, NTA News.
President Bola Tinubu celebrates his former Chief Press Secretary, Mr. Segun Ayobolu, on his 60th birthday. The president, in a statement by his special advisor on media and publicity, Ajuri Ngelale, commends Ayobolu for his unflinching service to the nation and dedication to progressive ideals over the years. Mr. Ayobolu served as Chief Press Secretary to President Tinubu and later Special Advisor on Information and Strategy when the President was Governor of Lagos State from 1999 to 2007. The foremost journalist and erudite scholar was at different times the political editor of the Daily Times and editor Sunday Times. Next is Friday's weather forecast. And that's it on the news. On behalf of Bamidele John, who's been on sign language, this is Nancy Godiangoni, who thanking you for watching.